Although it's far from perfect, the ridiculous amount of content means GTA Online is still a gaming experience like no other. Even after all these years, the game continues to give players a reason to keep returning, or even make players pick up the game for the first time. As for beginners, they can easily detach from the experience, all thanks to toxic players and repetitive missions. Well, there are ways by which you can enhance your experience with this game. All you need to do is avoid the common mistakes many players make. From overspending to not focusing on certain aspects of the game, in this video we take a look at 10 things most players make in GTA Online. Alright, so the first and silliest mistake most people make while playing GTA Online is not playing the game with friends. Few great games can't be enjoyed by solo players, and GTA Online is no exception. Whether it helps in cooperative endeavors or some old-fashioned PvP action someone's looking for, the game offers plenty of opportunities to get this without needing any friends online. However, like all good things, GTA Online is best enjoyed with friends. From easier communication in missions to the sheer chaos of exploring Los Santos as a group, few experiences in the game having friends along for the ride don't make it even better. That's why it's a mistake to miss out on this entire extra side of the game. But moving on, one major reason why I recommend playing the game with friends is that most players make the mistake of trying to complete prison break heists with strangers. That's right. New players especially need to always remember this. Completing missions with other players is automatically riskier than playing with friends or familiar faces. But that doesn't mean it's worth avoiding at all costs, as it's not always guaranteed to go wrong. However, there's one kind of mission where trying to complete it with strangers can be particularly painful. Bugs, extended stealth sections, and a tricky flying stage would all be difficult on their own. But it's the fact that every member of the team has a crucial role that makes the prison break heist hard to complete. It only takes one lower-level team member, or one person, not taking things seriously to throw the whole thing away, and make the player wish they hadn't even tried. But moving on, let's talk about another mistake people make when taking part in heists. Some people try to be the hero in heists and fail miserably. Completing heists is a core part of the GTA Online experience, and though it might be different for those that always have friends online, there's a good chance that most players might have to complete them with strangers at some point. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean it's not still a team effort. Though it might be easier to think of them as mindless NPCs, the other players all want to do their part to complete the mission. That's why one of the worst things a player can do is approach them like they're an action hero, ready to charge in ahead and brawl it out with enemies. Not only is it annoying for everyone else, but it can also make it way harder to pull off the mission. Instead of rushing solo, players should focus on communication and coordination. Discussing roles before the heist starts, such as who will be the driver, hacker, or lookout, can significantly improve the chances of success. Sticking to the plan and supporting teammates during critical moments, like shootouts or escapes, ensures that the group moves efficiently. Patience is also key. Sometimes waiting for backup or moving together can make all the difference. Players should also invest time in learning the heist layouts and understanding each objective. By playing smart and working as a cohesive unit, even groups of strangers can pull off complex heists and reap the big rewards. Another massive mistake many players make while playing GTA Online is provoking surprisingly strong players. This is a lesson many players learn the hard way. The best way to play the game is to be very careful around other players who seem to be particularly well equipped, or who drive around some of the more impressive vehicles in the game, like the massive Terrorbyte truck. For a player who isn't so well armed, it's best to avoid a fight with these people at all costs. Of course, it can be easy to accidentally set off another player without even meaning to. So most players will inevitably slip up at some point and draw the ire of someone who's not to be messed with. With any luck, they'll lose interest quickly after showing exactly what the best gear and vehicles in the game are capable of. Another mistake to avoid while playing the game is to be too trusting of other players. Though GTA Online will eventually make a hardened cynic of even the most gullible and open-hearted new player, likely there aren't many players out there that haven't been the victim of their trusting nature at some point or another. Not every server is the same, but nearly all contain players that aren't nearly as friendly as they may seem. GTA Online might be lighthearted fun most of the time, but it can require the same alertness and suspicion that survival games demand of the player at times, too. There's no more humiliating way to die or lose out than from another player's trap, so it's worth keeping in mind. But let's once again focus on some major mistakes people make in the game. One of the biggest mistakes new players make is making big purchases that won't make money back. GTA Online is full of investment opportunities, and it can be difficult to know how to spend money wisely when there are so many different options. However, even the best players make unwise investments now and again, and the very worst are the ones that have no way of making any money back whatsoever. Whether it was buying a shiny new expensive car on impulse, or going for the most expensive Aquarius yacht for the dream of flexing on other players. Everyone's guilty of making short-sighted purchases now and again. Whilst it can be fun, all too often players end up looking back on them with regret. Another mistake many players make is forgetting to buy snacks for missions. Buying snacks before missions is as important as stocking up on ammo, but it's also something that some players are bound to end up neglecting eventually. That's unfortunate because there's nothing worse than opening the inventory to find there's a massive space where snacks should be. To avoid having to search around for a way to refill them in blind panic or accepting that the mission is doomed, it's of crucial importance to remember to fill up beforehand. Even the best players have bad habits, however, and forgetting to buy snacks can be one of the worst for GTA Online. Another thing you need to avoid when playing GTA Online is focusing too much on GTA Online's missions. GTA Online's massive open world contains a stressful amount of stuff to do for the player, and that includes plenty of variety as well. Unfortunately, it's fair to say that the missions do start to get repetitive after a while, but that's exactly when all the other content comes into its own. There are a ton of fun things to do in GTA Online, aside from blindly completing mission after mission, and ignoring them is the fastest way to get bored with the game and end up losing interest. Though many players make this mistake, it's one that's easily avoided simply by taking some time to explore the game and the full extent of what it has to offer. The final two mistakes people make while playing GTA Online are honestly avoidable. Some players, especially the newer ones, make the terrible mistake of grieving other GTA Online players. Though most players think of griefers as a completely separate and toxic group of players, even a usually friendly player can end up falling into the trap of ruining another player's experience at times. Most GTA Online players enjoy PvP sometimes, and it's part of the game experience, but competitiveness can easily spill over into something more negative. Not every player is guilty of this, but it's a reminder for players who do get too intense to occasionally take a step back and make sure that their behavior isn't negatively affecting other players. Being the victim of toxicity can make it feel like that's just the norm, but it's almost always better to break the cycle. And finally, stop taking the game seriously. Online games are often at their best when there's an unspoken agreement that everyone involved is just there to have fun. And with so many ridiculous missions and fun competitions, GTA Online is perfectly suited to that. However, one thing that can ruin that experience is players who take things too seriously. Whilst there's technically nothing wrong with trying everything to rack up a high KD ratio and get to the top of the food chain, there are few things that veterans of GTA Online complain about more than try-hard players. It's natural to be competitive, but taking it too far can end up detracting from the experience overall. Well, those are all the big mistakes most players make when playing GTA Online. Which of these are you guilty of? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.